All right, so we're gonna see if we can take a quick spin on my 1972 BSA B50SS. I've got my whole litany of cameras and mics set up. I'm gonna need to plug. My receiver is dead, so I'm gonna have to plug this into my receiver. Hopefully this GoPro 12 keeps rolling. It's quit on me a couple times. Standard fare there. We've got the standard noise going on around the neighborhood. So I guess I'll go ahead and fire this thing up. Let's see. I'll turn my fuel on. Last time I did this is started it. Last time I ran it was when I made the last video. I don't know, a couple weeks ago. I'll tuck that in, put that in when I get it running. My mic power. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and give it a start. All right. So I tried to think of a few things to talk about. The purpose of this video is really because I'm selling this bike on Bring a Trailer. But I figured why not try to spice it up a little bit in the process rather than just doing a boring ride, add a few facts, talk a little bit about it. So I've tried to refresh myself on some of the facts of this thing. I'm pretty sure I will forget every single one of them, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I'm just, I don't do well under distraction. I'm not good at multitasking. So, you know, reciting facts about motorcycles in YouTube videos is probably not my strong suite. Probably a bad idea, but you know, whatever. I'm kind of one of those cautious drivers when I'm having a conversation. So what better thing to do than to worry about camera equipment, filming, camera equipment, spirited riding, and, you know, reciting some facts that you memorized all at the same time. Good idea, Brock. All right, let's see. This thing's still recording? Yes, it is. All right. Let's see if it turned my ignition on. Horn's good. See how many kicks it takes me. Come on, baby. Oh, well, not quite past the compression stroke like I thought, huh? 3, not bad. All right. Let's get out of here. Let's do this. So as I was saying, this is my 1972 BSA B50SS, the Gold Star Street Scrambler. Had this bike for a couple years. Racing heritage to them, and they're kind of that last breath from the British motorcycle manufacturers, you know, in the motocross world, in the off-road world. So I definitely didn't rip that line off of the website or anything on Google. But like I said, overall a neat history, neat bike. This one's got a rich history to it, so let's go ahead and get into it. If I can remember which is the shifter and which is the brake. Par for the course on a right-hand shift bike. Ha! I'm gonna adjust my mirror. There we go. So this bike's origins can kind of be traced, I'm going to trace them back to the BSA B40. They can be traced, the unit engines can kind of be traced back to the some earlier models, the C15, forgot the other two models, the two Triumph, the little 200cc models, they just slipped my mind. God, 150cc and a 200cc from the early, or not from the early, from the late 50s. You can see how much of an expert I am, I guess, right? Forget everything I want to talk about when it comes time to talk about it. But let's start at the BSA B40. So around 61, BSA had the B40. It was a 304cc engine, and then BSA's competition division essentially began increasing the stroke of that motor, 420cc and then to 441cc, and they came to the 441 Victor. That's a little more common than these, I think. Now, BSA's motocross racing division, using the 441 Victor engine, stretched out the 500 cc's, won 2 FIM Motocross World Championships. The motocross team won 2 FIM Motocross World Championships in 1964 and 1965. Jeff Smith was the rider who won those. So the predecessor to this bike, you know, had some really impressive feats that it accomplished. And as I said, they took the predecessor to this. It was a 441 Victor, stretched out to 500 cc's, titanium frame, and it took the first place in 64 and 65. Now, later years, they took second and third. BSA and the four strokes in general started losing in-grounds to some of the lighter weight two strokes that were coming along further in their development. You know, primarily CZ and Husqvarna. So Jeff Smith won it in 64 and 65. His teammate got, I think, second and third place the 2 years after. And then BSA narrowly did not get first place in 68 and 69. Now, because their competition, because their two-stroke competition was doing so well in the late 60s, BSA knew they needed to make some changes. That 441 engine was kind of stretched out past its limits, having issues. The titanium frames were cracking, falling apart, not repairable in the field. So BSA knew that they needed to do something. So from that, they came out with a redesigned engine. Basically a 500cc purpose-built engine. And with that redesign, they beefed up the crankshaft. I think they beefed up the crankcases potentially. They improved the crankcase ventilation. New iron line 500cc cylinder. New steel body oil pump. And a new stouter 4-speed transmission that could handle the excess power that these racers were putting down to it. Now, about this time, you know, BSA, this program was kind of in some dire straits. Number one, as I said before, the two cycles were really advancing past four-stroke technology in motocross racing. They were lighter, they were becoming faster, and they kind of pushed past four strokes. And this is a story for another day. Arguably, if it wasn't for manufacturers in later years pushing the AMA to modify their rules, 2 strokes would have always been dominant in motocross racing, and 4 strokes would have always been along the wayside. But that's a story for another day. There's some good channels on YouTube that dive into that very well. So anyways, so BSA was losing ground to these new, 2-stroke dirt bikes. CZ and Husqvarna in that area were kind of taking over, and at the same time, BSA financially was in dire straits. I'm pretty sure they closed their doors in 1972. So in 71, BSA shut down their motocross division. But luckily for the enthusiasts, they were able to push out 3 models from this redesigned motor, and that was the B50, the motocross version, the B50 MX, the trail version, the B50T, and the street scrambler version, B50SS. Now the B50 Trail and the B50SS came with 34 horsepower. They made 34 horsepower at 6,200 RPM. 499 cc's with an 84 by 90 millimeter stroke. 10-to-1 compression ratio. That's where the nice kickstart deal comes from. Gosh, what else? New feature is oil and frame, steel construction frame, oil and frame. Really neat swing arm. I think Jeff Smith was the one that designed it. A cam adjusting swing arm for the chain tension. Basically moves the swing arm forward and back rather than the axle. That cam adjuster feature can be found on the axle section of newer dirt bikes to this day, actually. I don't know if that's where they got it from, but it might be. And I'm sure I missed a couple things, but one of the last things, this big, humongous, bulky looking exhaust pipe that's so unique to these. Apparently that exhaust weighs like 40 pounds. And if you swap a B50 MX exhaust on it, you can save quite a bit of weight on this. This bike had a top speed of 80 miles per hour, and it weighed 310 pounds and had a 2.5 gallon fuel tank. Kind of going around and about here. But 80 mile an hour is really impressive for a machine this age. 500 cc's. There's not a lot of old bikes can hit that, along with the weight of 310 pounds. Price was like $13.95, just shy of $1,400 bucks. I think maybe it was $11.95. Might have been $11.95. But either way, it was really expensive for the time when you think about it. If you calculate the inflation out to what that would be today, it'd be like $9,800 bucks, or 92 or 98. I'm forgetting all the numbers I studied earlier. I'd love to get $9,800 for this on Bring a Trailer. I venture to say that's probably not going to happen. Probably need to make sure my camera's still recording. So let's go check and see if everybody watches me. No, I'm not. Fantastic. Well, I guess we'll record again. Apparently I should not have gotten a Hero 12 because the Hero 12 is screwing me over. Sync everything back up. Apparently my other GoPro's gone too. How nice. guess I better wrap this up. Maybe I can find my other GoPro. It's just a session. Probably works better than the newer ones do though. Alright. So now that I'm all pissed off and flustered, reset my speedometer clocking here. Let's go ahead and see if I can open this thing up a little bit. Try it again. Here we go. Third gear. Yeah, I have no doubt this thing will hit 80. If I was going to do that, I needed to gear up better. I also needed to have my helmet tighter, and I needed to have a full face. A Bell 500's fine, not exactly aerodynamic. That's not exactly a good spot to be doing 80 in either. So, let's see if I can spot my GoPro and mount that fell off in the middle of the road somewhere. Probably not. Is that it in the road? Sure as shit is. Good grief. Yeah, she took a little bit of a beating, but she appears to be fine. There we go. Why don't I go ahead and do a little bit of a pull here? Might as well. Why not? Or not. Enough for me. Yeah. Well, there you have it. Yeah, overall successful ride. I got my camera back. Didn't wreck, nothing happened. Bike's running well, as it always does. It's let's see, nice Sunday evening here, May 5th, 9:04. I think I left it 7:45, 7:30 maybe. No, it's probably 7:40, 7:45. So yeah, I've been out on this a good little bit, buzzing around. Good little bit. So get the bike on a center stand. Like I said, she idles pretty well. Well, Jesus Christ, Brock. Oh, whoo! On the side stand too. Some people in my auction have actually commented on the center stand being present, and I actually said, you know, yeah, in pretty good shape too. Actually holds the rear wheel off the ground. Pull the back down front wheel. A lot of BSAs don't do that. The bike idles good. I know I blipped the throttle at stoplights and everything. But you know, she idles pretty good. I've just always got that little bit of paranoia that I'm going to stall it or do something and be trying to kick start it or wheel it off the road when traffic's behind me. That's just how I am. Yeah, been out a good little bit on it. You know, if anybody's interested and wants the link to the auction, I'd be happy to provide it. Hope this bike finds a nice home. And yeah, let's go and shut it off. I think that's about it, guys. Yeah, again, hopefully you enjoyed the ride. And thanks for watching.